This is this last clap competition.
We did it! We did it!
Yay.
It's the last Pokemon Movie Club! Woo!
Until
For
Coco.
now. Until Coco. Welcome to Pokemon Movie Club with me, Marty, Cerebi Joe, and Birdkeeper Toby. And in this video, we are going to be discussing Pokemon the movie I Choose You, which is really a nice one to finish on, to be honest. And if you haven't seen the movie, my little pop up here, you can get the Blu-ray, DVD, Manga UK, Viz. I think sometimes it's been on Netflix. There's all these different ways on screen you can indulge and learn the story of this film. And right now, it's available for free on Pokemon TV. It might not be when you're watching this, but at the time of stream recording, it is available for free on Pokemon TV right now. So if you're watching this as soon as the video goes up, and you haven't seen it, go give it a watch, and then come back and hear our thoughts afterwards, because spoilers. Yeah? Cool. Yeah. So, Joe.
Hello.
Do your thing for the final time.
Do my thing.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Right, so do you want me to read it? Do you want me to give you details?
The date and the details, then it's the blurb, isn't it?
Okay, the movie came out on July 15th, 2017. And was the 20th Pokemon movie. And so, because it was the 20th Pokemon movie, they
What
changed
was that,
it up.
July 17th?
July 15th.
15th. So it's
But
just turned
it
3
was
years
technically
old.
first shown on July 5th in Japan Expo in France.
Yes, I remember that.
That was the world premiere.
Yes, I do remember that. Kind of wanted to go.
Now, it doesn't take place in the current chronology of the anime, which has been continuous from the beginning right up to Journeys, no matter what some people say. So think of it as a big Pokemon multiverse.
It kind of reboots. It's a
But
retelling.
Think of it as Poke-Earth 2.
Think of it as Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
No, just think of it as Poke-Earth 2. And it basically was...
It's similar but different to the
it was
original story.
a retelling of Ash's first journey, just without Misty and Brock, and instead with people from Sinnoh, with everyone saying, oh my god, this means Sinnoh remakes. It's like, no.
And was there a new Pokemon for this?
There was. Marshadow was introduced for this, along with its Z move. And in the run-up to the movie, they also released the Cap Pikachu for pre-booking for the movie in Japan and through various means elsewhere. And
So you got a new Pikachu wearing a hat every week.
with a Z move as well.
And
What?
yeah, just
I can't say where it is in the anime, but in the
where is it in the anime?
in the actual anime, around the time this episode aired, there was a cameo by Marshadow in Howley City. So
This is a big kind of celebration for Pokemon, right? Because this is
It
kind
was
of
the 20th movie,
after
wasn't
the
it?
it was the 20th
20th
movie.
movie. You know, the year before had been the 20th anniversary, right? With everything going on with Sun and Moon and all that stuff, and the trailers had obviously been coming out since then. And so I saw this as kind of the tail end of that big 20th celebration.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I was excited for this. I was very excited for this. I don't know about you, but I thought it was such a great way to freshen everything up from...
And
Because,
and it worked because the numbers for people viewing it were the highest they had been for almost a
It'd
decade.
come back
in
to the
Japan.
cinema in the UK.
It did.
We'd not had a Pokemon film in the cinema. I can't remember the last
Entei movie.
Entei
in the
movie,
UK.
like the third movie. Like this is the first time Pokemon films came back to cinemas. This was a big deal. Admittedly, it was just for like 2 days, but it was something. And yeah, 20 years, and it was different. It's because we had the Sun and Moon anime going on.
Yeah,
didn't we?
and because
so
of...
you couldn't really have. Well, you probably could have had a movie, but there was not.
It's like there is an arc, a couple of arcs in the Sun and Moon anime which could have worked as a movie, like the Necrozma arc. So that
They maybe could have done a
that would have made a good movie, actually.
They could have done a Sun and Moon movie.
But because the Sun and Moon series was less adventure, more slice of life, they couldn't do it. Whereas the anime now is a mixture of both.
Yeah,
but they're
very weird.
But they have rebooted, for lack of a better term, the movie universe, and so every movie is its own unique thing as of this movie. So this one,
there were throwbacks.
There were a lot of throwbacks
to the old movies, but we could get onto that later.
One of the first movie clubs we did was for the 21st movie, Power of Us.
Yes.
Do you see Power of Us as a kind of sequel to this, or a spiritual successor to this?
I don't know.
Basically, he has a movie hat, the partner cap. Basically, I think if he's got the partner cap, it might all connect. But
so he's wearing the same hat in...
Yeah, and in Coco.
I kind of assumed that, that Coco and the Power of Us are kind of part of this new set of movies where they're maybe not set to the same backdrop as the animated series, but they're kind of little Ash stories that exist as, they can be as creative or retelling.
What's interesting, I mean, this doesn't have Mew to Mew, but the second one in this universe has got Lugia, like the second movie had Lugia, and the fourth movie in this, Coco, I mean, because it's the fourth movie since it started, it has Celebi, and the fourth movie had Celebi.
So you're counting Mewtwo Evolutions
it's a movie which existed.
Yeah, but Detective Pikachu is in there as well. I don't know.
That was not real.
There's no partner cap in
That
Detective
wasn't
Pikachu.
Show Pro. Legendary doing their own thing. I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't. Although, talking of Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, we've seen Jesse and James in Pokemon Go in their Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution style.
As promotion for Coco.
Promotion for Coco, which I love how Jesse and James look in Pokemon Go, and then Joe was like, "Oh, that's because it's the evolution models," and then it clicked. I'm like, they look so good in Pokemon Go. Anyway, Joe's got to do the thing, because we have the Steelbook Blu-ray, which is Manga UK. I'm not sure if you can get standard Blu-ray or if it's just in Steelbook now. I know back when I got this, it was only available in Steelbook and standard DVD, but this is the very pretty metal one.
That's nice.
Which comes out like this, and then it looks like that on the back. It's very pretty. It's very, very pretty. But there you go, Joe. You can read the blurb.
On Poke-Earth 2. No, I'll say that. When Ash Ketchum overspeeds his 10th birthday, he ends up with a stubborn Pikachu instead of the first partner Pokemon he wanted.
Should have got up.
He shouldn't have an alarm clock in the shape of a Pokeball.
I know. Was it the post show we were talking about this? I swear I've mentioned this before. Why have an alarm clock that's a Pokeball? When you throw it...
Can I continue on, please?
No, because a Pokeball alarm clock is a really stupid idea. Continue.
Thank you. But after a rocky start, Ash and Pikachu become close friends and true partners, and when they catch a rare glimpse of the legendary Pokemon Ho-Oh in flight, they make plans to seek it out together. Because he doesn't do that in the anime. Trainers Verity and Sorrel join Ash on his journey, and along the way they meet the mysterious mythical Pokemon Marshadow. When they near their goal, an arrogant trainer named Cross stands in their way. Can Ash and Pikachu defeat him and reach her as they promised, or will their journey end there? That's a bit bleak.
It is a bit. But we would discuss as we go in, Pokemon anime has got pretty bleak in recent years with darker tones. Right, so straight in with a whole 3D intro situation. They've nailed it at this point, like the whole 3D animation thing. And I don't know if it's because we watched it on Blu-ray, but this film is beautiful. Like, even though it's just mainly fields and mountain areas and stuff,
they have never looked this good in Pokemon.
This film is stunning.
You've got to praise the animation, the art style.
Yeah.
I genuinely wish that that like future series are all animated, and I guess that the current series Journeys kind of is animated in the same way.
Similar way.
it just looks so clean, and it's this
Very
nice,
clean. Very clean.
almost kind of reimagining of the original style, but
Yeah.
just in a clean, modern look. I love it. I personally, I think this is the best looking film, along with
Powerbus.
Powerbus. I
Yeah,
think they're the best looking.
absolutely.
And Mutant
Yeah.
Strikes Back Evolution.
Yeah.
No.
But it's...
Coco looks amazing as well, in
Yeah.
a similar style.
And I just think this film just looks so clean, and obviously, as Pokemon fans of a certain age, we remember how, Kanto used to look in the anime, and, how it's just all fine lines and bright now, and widescreen. So from the off, they go straight in with a 3D situation, and they go into a stadium where we see trainers. First little Easter egg, we see trainers from the Mewtwo Strikes Back movie on the stadium screen. I can't remember their names, the ones with Brute Root and Shell Shocker.
Shell Shocker.
But that's a really nice throwback as well to the first film, and that they were kind of rebooting. I love how they, just put them in it as trainers. So, love that Easter egg. And then you see Ash watching it on TV. It's a day before his 10th birthday, where he could become a Pokemon trainer, legally, I guess. And we see another Easter egg. He's got a substitute plush in his room by his.
He has that in Journeys as well.
Yeah, I like that. Substitute plush is good. I've also written down stupid alarm clock, because why would you have a Pokeball alarm clock? I don't know.
Let it go.
No. So at this point, we essentially have a retelling, a reimagining of the first episode of
Including
the
a
anime.
poster from Unova in Professor Oak's lab.
I missed that.
Well,
I
actually,
missed
there's a few posters of a few different regions. At the time, there was one that I was adamant must be a new region, but it's not. It's just the Kanto region of Japan, but
It
weirdly
looked
not
weird.
the Kanto region.
Yeah. I
specifically
looked at the same
real-life area.
poster and I said to Joe, it's like, hang on, what region's that? Because it didn't really look like Kanto.
No.
It looked a
I
bit
broke
weird.
it down, and as far as I can tell, it literally is the Kanto region of Japan, but not the Kanto region of Pokemon.
Right.
Which,
Fair enough. But no, I did notice that poster, and I pointed it out to Joe, and he was like, nah, that's just Kanto, don't worry about that. So, but yeah, this is, at this point, a retelling of the first episode. Now, I'll admit, I didn't see the first episode of Pokemon for quite a while. I must have been at least an adult when I saw the first episode for the first time, because I kept getting home from school. This was before the on-demand on your internet. It would. I would miss it. I would get back home from school too late, and I remember getting home from school, and I'd see that last bit of the Ho-Oh flying over, but I'd miss the episode. Obviously, I've seen it now, but it was many years later. So yeah, it is essentially Ash getting Pikachu, and being late to Oak's lab, getting Pikachu, because the other Pokemon had been claimed already, and getting into a bit of a scrap with Spearow, ending with Ho-Oh flying over the sky. How do you think the whole retelling of the first episode was handled?
It was pretty much the same as before. That's why Takeshi Shudo is credited for this screenplay, even though he died 7 years before this movie was made.
Right.
Fun fact. I'm not so fun.
And I mean, like, all of that, that kind of first episode retelling, which covers maybe the first 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
It was great. It works. It works as setup for, the story. It catches anyone up who is like, what is an Ash and Pikachu, and where do they fit?
Because it didn't start with World of
it worked.
Pokemon either. Like, you go straight in fresh. It's a good explanation of what's what in the Pokemon world, to be honest. I love how Pikachu, like, when Ash is just dragging him along on the stick, and Ash said, is it because you don't like me? And Pikachu's like, he could be like just nodding his head. Just gets me that. And then different to the first episode, Ho-Oh then drops the feather, which Ash then keeps.
Wing.
The rainbow wing. And then this is
where things diverge.
Start getting a bit weird. And then it's the intro to the film.
Nice little montage.
Nice little montage of thing, and Ash just, continuing his journey up until the next point. And the mother and child are in the intro. I noticed that there was a battle going on, and then you see mother and child walking along, and Joe laughed at me because he thinks that's the only reason why I watch the Pokemon films. Yeah. It's just to see if I can spot mother and child. He's right. And so it ends with Ash at Erica's gym. And this is where I have a problem. Toby, do you know what my problem is?
We do know what your problem is, because you're sort of going on about it. Your problem is that he goes, this is my 3rd gym badge, and you're like, no! How dare they?
No!
You can't have Erica be the 3rd gym.
Because it's Lieutenant Surge, then Erica.
Do you know what? I'm going to argue with you here. At the end of the film, in the credits, there's this cool little montage, and Brock and Misty are there. Now, if we're implying that he's meeting those characters after the film begins, then maybe gyms 1 and 2 for him were not even those 2 gyms, and that he hadn't met them yet. Maybe the implication is he did the gyms
the bit in the credits is just to
Viridian City first, Maybe he's taken a whole different route. You don't know.
It's really wrong. It's called Erica the 3rd gym. I don't even know why they thought to even do that. I mean, I know some people with Let's Go didn't do Erica to the 8th gym because it is possible to completely accidentally miss Erica in Let's Go.
You gotta get 7th gym. You can't go. I don't think you can go to 8 because Giovanni's always last, right?
Yeah. And also, even back in Pokemon Blue, I got Blaine and Sabrina, I think, the wrong way around, which I think you can do.
You're right.
But
it's
to
weird
have Erica 3rd.
What about Gary's 10 gym badges?
I don't know about that.
It's whatever, man.
It's
this is
just,
not a big
not everything is the game, Marty.
It just bugged me. I don't know why they said Erica to be the 3rd gym. Just didn't make sense.
I'm still, at this point in the movie, I'm still really enjoying it, having a blast. I love the montage. The montage is very much like Pokemon Generations and Origins in a way. These little montagey, small segments, and they feel good, I think, because you can kind of put yourself in, oh yeah, I had a gym battle with Erica, and that's what it's like, and it's cool to see that animated. So I'm totally on board with the film at this point.
And then we go to the Pokemon Center after that, and we meet Verity and, well, Joe said his name was Soren, but is it Sorrel?
Yeah, it's Sorrel.
Sorrel. So, this person comes into the Pokemon Center with a really hurt Vaporeon, and apparently an Entei is about, so then all the kids go running after this Pokemon that's legendary that will clearly harm all of their Pokemon. Kids, why 10 years old to be a Pokemon trainer? I don't think they're mentally ready at 10.
That's great.
To be
honest. Man,
honest.
that guy got hurt. His Pokemon nearly died. Let's go find out what that's
Exactly.
about.
So they go to the forest to find Entei. They find Entei. And
Peak moment, by the way. Entei, that shot of Entei having jumped over Ash, and he side-eyes Ash Ketchum, is the coolest shot in the whole film.
It's pretty cool.
Super dope.
It was pretty cool. Entei is pretty cool, I guess. They try and battle Entei, didn't go very well, and then Ash makes sort of friends with Verity and Sorrel, and then it starts raining, and so they try and find shelter, and they find a Charmander in the rain. Cue next anime episode retelling situation. How Ash got his Charmander.
At least it's not from a trainer with a terrible English accent this time.
So they find this Charmander, and it was waiting for its trainer in the rain. Charmander, not in great shape. And the trainer comes back, and he kicks Charmander.
He does.
And Ash was
Just
like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? And there is a picture there right now on screen. He's like, Charmander's weak, I don't care about it, it'll wait for me all day, it's pathetic, and all that.
I feel like they just lifted the dialogue from like Paul in the Sinnoh anime with his Chimchar. I feel like they were just like, yeah, that'll do. We'll throw that bit in.
Fire starters in general are really hated by other trainers.
They're kind of hard to train.
I mean,
It's not the
Tepig,
easiest.
it happened. Chimchar, it happened. Cyndaquil couldn't use fire moves. Charmander, it happened.
Picking Charmander
Litten,
was hard mode.
the Litten story was heartbreaking.
That's true. Fire starters get a bad situation.
That end of the deal.
So they want to save Charmander at this point because the flame on its tail's going out in the rain, and so they find a cave to get shelter, and then they find Sorrel again. It's like, whoa, how'd you let your Charmander get like this? And Ash was like, no, it's not mine. And Verity's like, we're saving it. Its trainer didn't want it. So they all like snuggle up by a fire in the cave, and Entei comes along, just lets them get on with it. They all sleep in the cave in peace. Next day, Charmander's feeling a lot better, and Ash was like, how about it? You want to come along with me? Charmander's like, okay then. So then Ash gets to Charmander, woo!
I mean, Charizard is one of Ash's most iconic Pokemon.
Yeah, they could
Yeah.
not include it, right?
While in the cave, of course, there was a telling of the legendary beast story with the bell tower and how the beasts came to be. They didn't go in for that theory of the whole evolutions thing though, Toby. So it must be a bit
They didn't. No.
disappointing for you that. So at least you got the legendary beasts in with this film. So I guess that's a nod to movie 3 in this as well, maybe.
Not really.
I just thought it was interesting they brought the beasts into this.
It's because they're related to Ho-Oh.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose.
It's all about that Ho-Oh and building up to Ho-Oh in a very cool way.
Yeah, I just didn't cross my mind, but yeah, you're
Again,
right.
at this point, movie's still really working
Yeah,
for me.
still good,
Yeah.
still good. And then we get our first glimpse of Marshadow in the cave as well, like lurking in the shadows. Obviously the new mythical for this film.
I like Marshadow.
Yeah,
I'm
it's all right.
gonna
We've
be
got
honest,
Crush up there,
we do
actually,
have a
haven't
Crush
we?
up there.
I think its inclusion in this film is really weird. It has no in-law connection to Ho-Oh
Okay, yes,
at all.
I
and
agree.
I hate it being here. It is here for promotional reasons
Yeah.
only, and
Yeah.
has no bearing on the story.
Yeah.
I agree with
This
that.
is one of the things we've discussed in Movie Club before. If you're gonna have a story to link Pokemon that you want to promote, it's got to be pretty good. Like some films have done it better than other. Obviously, at this point, you've got an older Pokemon that we've known about for 20 years and a brand new Pokemon. How do you get that new Pokemon to work?
They did what they could.
Yeah, they did. It was just about it lurking in the shadows and
making sure things get set right.
yeah, it is one of the films that I'm not completely sold on the mythical and legendary Pokemon
Combining,
being part of the same story. It just didn't completely sit well. I like Marshadow, but okay, it didn't feel as forced as other storylines, but didn't quite work for me. So Marshadow sees that Ash got this, the story of the legendary beast got told, so Ash was like, I've got a feather! And,
What's wrong with you?
it's really hot, guys. Sorry, the heat's getting to me a bit. Marshadow listens to this story, and then Sorrel says that Ho-Oh lives at the end of a rainbow. Right, okay. And then Ash decides he wants to go find Ho-Oh to have a battle.
And all of his traveling companions just like,
All
yeah,
right.
sounds good.
Yeah.
We've not got
We'll
any
go too.
lives of our own. Let's go do that. Let's
Yeah.
totally.
They just decide to follow someone they just met up. Like, goodness knows where the end of this rainbow would be. That's like a really tough thing to find. And then there's this little montage now where Verity's looking at photos. So at this point, it's implied that they've been together for a long time at this point, and there's lots of photos of them together. One of which is in a city. Now, I don't know where a city was from when they came out of the cave to the mountain they were going towards. I'm not sure where that picture was taken. But that was weird. And the last photo, and I think things are going to get a bit heated about this last photo, Verity, and we see Verity's mum and Verity's mum's Empoleon. Verity having a pit up herself. And it is widely believed and that that's Cynthia.
No, it isn't.
And why is it not Cynthia?
Because the producer said that it isn't.
But do we
So-
believe the producer when there's a lot of things pointing?
They know better than us.
Because Verity also says that her mum's a really famous trainer
Very famous trainer who looks identical to Cynthia
and has an Empoleon.
and hasn't, but that's not Cynthia because one of the producers said so. Yeah, okay. I think what's more, maybe that producer was just a little confused on the day, but that's very clearly Cynthia.
Cynthia.
I think
It's not
Verity
Cynthia.
after one of the
It's
lakes.
Cynthia.
Her name is Verity after one of the lakes in Sinnoh. Exactly the kind of place Cynthia would, go to learn the mythology of the world of the region because that's what she's all about. But no, it's not Cynthia because that one producer said that one time. Okay, all right, on board with you.
I still
Joe.
think that producer is like one of those trolly comments like, no, it's not Cynthia.
No. As far as if everyone at Game Freak came out and said that's not Cynthia, I would still probably just headcanon that as Cynthia because, come on,
Like, why would it be a problem if it is? It makes it better that it is.
Yeah, I think so too. But it's anyway. It's not Cynthia because for the Sinnoh remake, Cynthia's having a twin sister.
According to the director, it might be one of Cynthia's relatives, but it isn't Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Why would they ever?
Cynthia.
And I honestly don't remember Cynthia using a Empoleon.
No, but it seems
Empoleon.
believable.
No, I just checked the World Tournament. She doesn't. She doesn't in Gen
I
5.
swear she's got an Empoleon.
Let me just
in
check
one
the
of her
battle
teams.
tree.
I swear Cynthia's got an Empoleon in one of her
It's
teams.
like plausible that she could have one though, and that she could have one in this universe. I think that's totally weird.
I could have sworn she had one in her team.
Regardless, it might be one of Cynthia's relatives. Okay, sure, whatever works for you.
Let's go with twin sister.
Yeah, all right. Why not?
Or Cynthia. And after, Verity's finished looking and reminiscing at these pictures, she sees Suicune.
No Empoleon here either.
Whatever, it's Cynthia. She sees Suicune on the other side of the lake, just chilling, and Suicune looks at her, and then goes away. And then I think we get to another Pokemon Center. Sorrel is reading a book about Ho-Oh, and we find out the rainbow wing loses color if it touches darkness.
As in dark hearts, not as in a lack of light.
Yeah. And then Ash has a battle with Cross and he loses. But Charmander evolves. Although, did Charmander evolve before?
Charmander evolved in a battle before.
But then
Then Cross,
Charmeleon was against Cross. Yeah.
Cross appeared right after.
And then he lost. And Ash didn't take losing very well. So he went all sad and upset and said some really horrible things to his friends and Pikachu. And we think Marshadow made Ash say those horrible, nasty things.
To test, I think.
Yeah?
That's my theory.
I just thought it was a bit of a weird thing.
In this movie, I don't really understand why switch up Verity, Sorrel, and Cross with Misty, Brock, and Gary, when the three characters so clearly parallel each other in all the things they intend to do.
Maybe they just wanted to freshen it up.
Yeah, they wanted people to think this is something new. This isn't the same thing over and over again.
I guess I don't know. Or even like just
I know what you
Cross
mean, though.
Gary or just one or the other. Because I don't know. Cross is such a weird inclusion in this film as well, and like I don't love that he's called Cross and he's always cross and his hair is cross. I get it.
He's got like a big X unknown necklace. You know,
Yeah,
that's a
it's
cross.
like,
I
okay,
didn't notice that.
we get it.
And he's got a lichen rock which is perpetually cross.
Mm-hmm.
That
Just
is
in case
true.
you've forgotten.
And
his
he's
name
got
is
an
Cross.
incineroar which has cross chop.
Uh-huh.
Oh god, this keeps going,
What
doesn't it?
happens with it?
This is the Ash has a bit of a, I guess, Luke Skywalker moment. Has a bit of a vision situation, and in this vision, like Ash wakes up late. It was like if Pokemon didn't exist and Ash wakes up late in
It
the
was like
morning.
our world and it
And
sucked.
he had cars on the wall instead of Pokemon, and he goes to school late, and the teacher is
Toby?
Agatha.
There you go.
Agatha.
By the way, that's a point that the first 2 times I watched this movie, I missed that scene both times. The first time, because I think I had to run to the toilet or fell asleep, and then the other time vice versa.
You fell asleep in the
At
movie
this
showing
point,
that we
and
went to.
No, so I think the
Or did
first
you
time
see
was
it
toilet.
afterwards?
The first time was toilet, and that was the one we went to. And then the second one, when it was out everywhere, I happened to be asleep in that moment because I'm gonna say it. This is about where the film has now lost me. Somewhere in this area, it's gone from being really cool and epic retelling to like, all right, get on with it. Seems to be a lot of threads. You've got legendary beasts, you've got Cross, you've got Caterpie stuff, you've got Charmander stuff, you've got Mars Shadow stuff, and there's just a few too many things happening, and they're taking their time about all of it.
I see what you mean. This bit could be taken out. Really, it's yeah. So Ash is kind of like in a world without Pokemon. Ash, then goes to the rooftop of the school, which is a common thing I think in Japan, but it's a bit weird
It
here.
is.
Sees what he thinks is Ho-Oh in the sky, but it's not. It's actually a plane. So he's having kind of like blurred visions where some things are Pokemon. So he's up on the roof wondering what's out there in the distance, and he's like, "Oh, I've always got my buddy here," but they were like, Verity's like, "Well, what are you talking about? Because there's no Pokemon in that world." And then Ash goes running after a yellow blob on the roof, which then the school is now a city, but then everything crashes down around, like proper nightmare situation, basically. Then Ash wakes up in the forest, and Verity and Pikachu, they've all found him again. And then Sorrel, this is another part of the movie. I don't know why they put this in. This is dark. Sorrel tells the story about how all Pokemon leave one day. And
Oh yeah.
Do you want to tell the story, the luxury story, Joe?
Sure.
You can say
Oh,
it without
God.
crying, probably.
But, well, Sorrow as a child, he goes out sledding, and it's snow, it's and it's very snowy there. And he's got a Luxray which takes care of him because his parents are, deadbeats. And so the Luxray chases after him because Sorrel had fallen, and it cuddles up with Sorrel. Rather than picking Sorrel up and putting it on its back or getting home, he just cuddles up with Sorrel for heat, and then, the Luxray dies.
They don't say as much, but it's... Yeah.
A revive could have fixed it.
You
swear
see
it's like-
the kid crying and the adults taking him away from the
There's
Luxray the next
a
day.
handful
And
of
it's like,
times in the Pokemon shows where you see a dead Pokemon.
I mean,
Like, it's so rare, especially even when they don't. Like, I think in the 4th movie, they like shrivel up Celebi like it's a gone off onion.
Stoutland just vanishes.
And still bring it back to life, you know. But Luxray, it's just like, it's frozen to death. Enjoy.
At least it's not as bad as the one from The Power of Us, which they had to, you know, tone down a bit in the dub.
All right, okay.
You know, Snubble crying out whilst it's, you know, in an explosion.
I swear there's another... There was a scary episode in... Was it XY?
What, the Esper episode?
Like, there was a
Yeah, the Esper episode.
Was it the Esper episode? It's dead Esper, or...
Its owner was dead.
Wouldn't it be wild?
Yes, its owner was dead. And I was like, they're actually talking about death in Pokemon, which is...
Wouldn't it be wild if what they did was have Sorrel wake up and he looks on the horizon and there's like a Haunter like flying off? How cool would that be?
No.
Oh,
They should have had the Drifloon come in and...
What? Yeah. Grab Sorrel and take him to the afterlife?
Yeah. With promises of meeting Luxray. Anyway, this has got a bit dark. So I don't know why that even came up. That added absolutely nothing to the film, to be honest. And then like Ash holds Feather up, and the Feather like shines towards the mountain, and like, okay, we've got to go that way. It's like, all right. Then the film turns into Bye Bye Butterfree.
Well, yeah, because that's very iconic.
Yeah.
It's got the pink Butterfree.
So really, there's only 3 iconic episodes in this.
Yes. And it's basically pretty similar to how the episode goes. You know, Butterfree rescues the Butterfree, and then they get all dancey, and then they decide to fly off and have lots and lots of Caterpie.
I think the scene where they all like
they might have flown off and really... you know.
Well, had lots and lots of venom. That no, Toby, that's not how the evolution line works.
Well, they might have flown off and just discovered that they don't cohabitate right, and then kind of, you know, had a little squabble about who's doing the dishes, and then ultimately they decided to part ways, and yeah, maybe one of the Butterfrees got with the venom off, and they have baby venom out. You don't know. Sorry, I'm projecting. I'll let you. It's okay.
It was a very pretty scene. I mean, personally, I'm not one of those that ever got emotional about Bye Bye Butterfree because I don't really remember it. But it was a very beautifully done scene. Very nice.
This is a scene that, I mean, in the original animated series, I think was the first heartbreak for a lot of kids. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, like it's going off to just like.
Well, he was. No, see, for me, it was when he was going to leave Pikachu.
Yeah, and that one as well. I mean, they were both, and I think they both rely on similar music.
Anyway, they have the exact same music.
The same thing. And it's very emotional. What I will say is, whereas the original definitely captivates me in that emotional way, because it's had months of build-up. What ended up happening, and actually, we were very lucky. We were all at the there was an early viewing that we got invited to go to with Pokemon, and we got to see it, you know, in a cinema. It's my first time ever seeing it in a cinema, and me and the person that I was with, we kind of got to this. I think that we were riding the same wave of emotions of like, oh, this is so cool, to like, all right, get on with it. What's with the Marshadow? Why are we in this alternate world? And by the time we got to Bye Bye Butterfree,
did we look over to see if Toby was crying?
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
They thought we were crying. Right, these two thought I was crying. We weren't crying. We were laughing because we couldn't get over how like it had lost all emotional impact, and we're sitting there just like, Butterfree, go get some, have fun. Like we just done the whole thing dumb, but sadly did not land for me. And by this point, the movie's kind of lost me a little bit, I think.
Well, I thought it was quite a nice moment anyway, like... and then they walk off and all that, and Raikou is just there, watching them walk to the mountain.
Raikou has been really neglected in terms of the anime. It's got the worst bit of this. It never had its own movie. It just appeared in an episode where Togepi was, you know, lost, and so was found with Houndoom. It had Chronicles.
Which I gotta say is so much better than I think people talk about, like when they talk about Pokemon movies and stuff. I actually think the Chronicles with Raikou, Legend of Thunder, is really, really cool. And was gonna suggest that if we were to do more of these in the future, that would be one of the
I mean, it is essentially a movie.
It is.
Not a
It's
movie.
cool.
A TV movie.
Not a movie.
It's a TV movie.
Not a movie. We're only doing movies. No Mewtwo Returns.
Yeah.
Can't find your video anyway.
No.
And because it's not a widely easy thing for people to watch now. Raikou is just there. Then we find an old man on the mountain who has Red's hat on.
He doesn't have Red's hat on. Red's hat has got the emblem's green for Red, but here
When I
it's
said
red.
that, you said, yeah, it's Red's hat. So that's why I wrote that down.
It's
like similar.
based on Red's hat. I'm just
So
leading
who's
you
this
up.
guy then, Toby? What's the theory?
It's
on
Red
this guy?
because it lives in the mountains as well, and Red does that in
fine.
gold and silver.
It's clearly like some kind of reference to Red, but the guy's weird. He sniffs everyone like, oh, you have the smell of a rainbow wing. And it's like, dude, stop sniffing
Yeah.
these strange children. You go. You've been living in the mountains for a while. I don't know what you're about, but I don't
Or
like
why
it.
he's
And
there.
His whole journey in this film, he kind of escorts them up the mountain.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is like, I want to see Ho-Oh, I want to see Ho-Oh. And
Then why haven't you seen
functionally in the-
Ho-Oh already? Like, why?
Functionally in the film, he's useless. He
Yeah.
just provides a little bit of exposition, and that's all he does. He doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, it was weird. And then, like, the feather, Ash holds a feather and it shows, like, the rainbow rock, apparently, is another thing. So they get to this rainbow rock and, surprise, surprise, Cross got there first. And
Because he's cross.
he's mad because he wants to he wants to battle
cross
her.
paths once again.
That was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
So Marshadow's just there to watch and make sure the rainbow wing doesn't go dark from the evil. But Cross makes that feather dark and it's not good. And Cross goes to the top of this rock, but then everything goes dark, and then Marshadow actually turns evil, and then all the Pokemon go evil, and it's not good times. Not good times.
Again, they basically turn into shadow Pokemon with
Yeah.
shadowy auras and purple eyes, and they're attacking people, and it's very much that same concept being reworked, reused again.
Then Pikachu gets hurt by all this going on, and Ash, just like back in the Spirit Days, like, no, leave Pikachu alone. And then Ash gets hurt, and then it's Toby's favorite part of the film. And this is the part that you would have heard about, even if you've not watched the film. Everybody knows about this part. In Ash's delirious state, Pikachu talks.
But Pikachu doesn't actually talk. Ash is just insane because he's had a few hyper beams to the face.
He's about to. He's bruised. He's damaged. He's hurt. He's worn out. You know. He's been in fights with Pokemon and sniffed by old men, and he's about ready to call it a day. And he's like, Pikachu, please just save yourself. Get in the Pokeball. And then he's like, why won't you get in the Pokeball? And then he hears Pikachu's voice in what should be the most magical moment that made me laugh out loud even more.
Ruined it all for
Partial
us.
preview viewing, which was, it's because I want to be with you. Which is so dumb in so many ways. Pikachu, he's not wanted to get in the Pokeball since before he knew Ash. He doesn't like Ash at the beginning. He still doesn't. But Ash decides to bend the truth a little bit here because he'd rather go out hearing Pikachu's, that he likes him. So clearly if that was what Ash heard, it's not even remotely what Pikachu was thinking. And ultimately, Ash dies?
Then Ash dies. Ash gets dusted, like he evaporates. And he's in that kind of nightmare world again where Pokemon doesn't exist, but he sees like the blur of Pikachu and he keeps running towards that blur to see Pikachu. And in the real world at this time, Pikachu's like crying, like, Ash, where are you?
And you get so mad he uses his, Thunderbolt, which, cures everyone of their shadowness.
Yeah. Ash dies and ghosts. Oh, my notes are awful. Pikachu cries and gets mad.
Yeah, but you've read those bits already.
Dead Ash... No, because I wasn't reading my phone at that point. Dead Ash in the Shadow Realm. Both feel each other's aura, even though they're in two separate worlds. And they run... Ash, you know how, like, you told to not run towards the light? Ash runs towards the light and ends up back in the real world again. And Ash lives.
And this is so like, why does Ash get a free pass here?
I
Like, he
don't
got
know.
murdered, and then he's like, well, I can the love of my
But the
friendship.
thing is,
bring
like,
back.
it
then, like,
is, there's no body. He just like
imagine,
dusts.
imagine like he's running towards Pikachu, and he's like in this death realm, and he's like, I'm coming, Pikachu. Oh hey, a Luxray. Like zaps into
Yeah, why did Luxray come back with him?
Like,
What
is
was
this
the
a Luxray
point of the Luxray bit? There
To
was
tug at your heartstrings.
Death
like-
has
But
no
I don't have a
consequence in
heart,
this
so it didn't
world.
affect me.
like it wasn't even a stone Ash like in Mewtwo Strikes Back. It was just Ash disappeared, but then he comes back again. It
Yeah.
just felt a bit weird.
And he's back and everything's just sorted. Like, Pikachu's done a powerful enough
They don't
Thunderbolt,
even
but I guess
discuss it. They're not
everything's
even
just
like.
sorted. And Mars Shadow's just like, alright, that was wild. Peace out. Just disappears.
And then the feather comes back at this point as well. And Ash like, oh cool. And then Ho-Oh finally appears, and finally we're gonna see this battle with Ash and Ho-Oh. What we really wanted to see. Ash is gonna be the rainbow hero. We see 3 moves.
And then
Of that
flashes
battle.
of about 12 more.
All that to get to Ho-Oh, you see 3 moves. And then
You don't
it
even like
zooms
the
out,
battles in movies, though.
but it was
Listen.
kind of all leading up to this moment, and then it zooms
Pokemon the
out, and then
first
you just
movie.
see the flashes.
Pokemon the first movie, we get Mew and Mewtwo get their film. Then then Lugia gets a film. Celebi gets a film. Hey, wait, what about Ho-Oh? Oh no, we're on to Gen 3 now. Like, we've been waiting for the Ho-Oh movie, the Ho-Oh battle of the century.
And did Ash
Yeah,
win?
okay.
And what is the point of being the rainbow hero? It's basically Ho just flies over you and says, "I like the look of that
I
kid."
think
drops
Ash
the
did
feather.
I actually
Do you
believe
think?
Ash won. Why? Because he wasn't carrying Pikachu in a hurry because Pikachu had been knocked out. Pikachu was, all up and happy, just, a bit scuffed up.
Do you think in Coco at some point he'll just like send out a Pokeball and Ho-Oh will come?
That'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah, I got this back 2 films ago. Don't worry about it. No biggie. Whatever. Rainbow Hero.
It does make me think. Well, going back to what we were saying earlier about film continuity, like what's going to happen about Pokemon Ash has got in Power of.
He doesn't use
He doesn't
anything
use
other than
anything but then
Pikachu.
Pikachu. This is going to be a really interesting thing going forward. What Pokemon will Ash end up
I
using?
suspect.
I
we'll
hope
see him-
Cramorant.
You think that's why
suspect
Cramorant's part
No.
of it?
that in the movies we're gonna see him use only Pokemon that we've previously seen him owned. I mean, maybe we'll get like some movie exclusive Pokemon, but I think
Because things are getting nuts in Journeys now, from what I hear
Yeah.
as well. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he ends up using in films because of this whole reboot situation. But yeah, we see 3 moves, which I think's a little bit insulting, as we were all invested up until this month. 20th special movie, and I think they were like, oh, we've kind of run out of time for an actual Ho-Oh match. Oh, this is a bit awkward. But
Wow.
it ends with pretty much my favourite thing in the film. Ash at the Pokemon Center, and Nurse Joy was like, oh, who have you been battling? We've been battling Ho-Oh. That's nice. Oh. Like, just the whole dismissive, oh, that's nice. Like, Nurse Joy didn't really register what he said. I don't know why, I just love that.
And then it had the world of Pokemon,
And then
which,
it had the world of Pokemon,
which
right
featured
at the end.
things from the 2nd movie, the 10th movie. Was there a Hoenn bit? There had to have been a Hoenn
I
bit.
think there was. I remember the Victini movie people in it. So even though we've got a reboot situation, that World of Pokemon thing referenced several of the movies over the last 20 years.
Well, I think it's
which
kind
was
of
quite
referencing,
interesting.
You know, like upcoming things for this Ash. You know, like in the journeys that he'll go on.
I wonder if they decide to new Ashify the old films or touch on them in any. I don't think.
They had a thing from the Pikachu shorts.
The Pikachu shorts, yeah.
And then they went to the place from the Victini movie.
The Victini movie.
And they also had the Xerneas movie and then Alola.
But before that part, they did actually all split up at the end. They all split ways in a fork in the road. I think that's a throwback to Brock and Misty in proper anime. Because that's how Brock and Misty, Ash all split up and parted ways, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that's.
And then Brock came back a few episodes later.
Yeah. It's definitely a throwback to that. So there were some nice little throwbacks in this film without it being too, what's the word? Fan service. It wasn't too fan service. I think that was a good balance of retelling and new. It did, for me anyway, it didn't feel fan servicey. I don't know about you two.
No,
it felt good. I liked it. I liked the way it ended.
I like alternate universe stories. I get that a lot in sci-fi and other things that I watch. So I'm used to things like this, but I know a lot of people, they don't like it when because like you and X-Men and the MCU. That took you a long while to get.
I mean, Quicksilver. Like, there's 2 films with Quicksilver in it.
But,
like, how was I meant to?
But things like that, they do confuse a lot of people, and a lot of people just can't get their heads around it, which I get. But for me, it's something I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
Well, now I'm really annoyed about X-Men. Now that you've brought it up, like.
You know, and just to annoy you, Joe, I kind of always saw that this Ash and the Alola Ash are like the same one.
Wrong.
I know that annoys me so much. I know it does.
Because you're wrong.
And because the cap of this Ash as well is like a combination of the Alola cap and the original cap, right? That's like the gimmick they go. But I'm wrong. Don't worry about it. That's just my thinking. Wrong thinking.
Yeah, you are very wrong. But you're a Pokemon theorist, so you're used to being wrong all the time.
This is true. Very true.
Clutching at straws.
I kind of always thought that this Ash and the Alola Ash was like the same.
But
And this,
Pokemon Journeys proved that wrong.
How so?
Well, in the start of the second episode of Pokemon Journeys, it has all of Ash's accomplishments since Kanto.
So, the argument that is always made when we get into this stuff
is that he could just have done that with this, and that's like the most pointless idea ever.
In the credits, we then see Brock, Misty, and like all of the companions.
Tracy, May, Max,
I said
Dawn,
all of the companions.
Iris, Xylan.
All right, that's
Bonnie, Clement,
Oh,
Serena.
Long-haired Serena, though. Long-hair Serena.
Why not?
Well, she spent longer as short-haired Serena. I just thought it'd be her final
it's the
look.
original. It's the iconic look as well.
Yeah, I guess. What else was in the credits? That's about it, really. Like nothing more to mention. That was the film. I think, like I said, wasn't too fan servicey. I think it was a big disservice not showing more of the Ho-Oh battle. They could cut out stuff like the Luxray thing. There was a few bits they could have cut out and had more Ho-Oh battle. Because it's the 20th anniversary anime movie. It was... Ash was going to be the rainbow hero. But what... And then my annoying... Like, what was the point of being the rainbow hero? What does that call?
So you could battle Ho-Oh.
That we don't even get to see it.
No.
Like...
Yeah, not everything's about you. It's about Ash.
But...
And
overall...
Fun fact, the ending theme for this movie in Japan is the same as the ending theme for Rise of Darkrai, Erasian.
Cool.
Except they've got lyrics with it.
Overall, what did you think? What did you guys think? This is the last one. What did you?
I like it.
I
It's
enjoyed
very
it.
pretty,
I would have liked
but
if
it's got a
it.
few holes.
I would have liked if it had the original soundtrack, like The Power of Us, Mewtwo Strikes Back,
Oh,
Evolutions,
yeah,
and all that. Do now. Because I did
Same.
download the original soundtrack off Japanese iTunes. It's mostly anime stuff, just like music from the anime. So the fact that they used that in the anime, but they can't use that now, that really annoys me.
Yeah, I'm on the same page about that, and I agree with you, Marty, that like I liked it, but there's a few holes. I think visually it's stunning. I loved all of the references to in-world stuff. I thought the legendary beast was super cool in this, even though they only have brief mentions. I just wish it built up to something more coherent and maybe didn't try to do too much. Oh, also, Team Rocket were in this film.
For
They
some
were in
For
it.
some reason.
For some
I
reason.
feel like they may have more of a part in Coco.
It does appear,
It
but
doesn't feel like they're actually. Sorry, there's a fly in the room. It's really annoying. It feels like. Go away, fly!
gosh.
Oh, it's been in the room all afternoon. It's I better go before movie club because I know it'll be dive bombing us when we're recording. With all the Team Rocket promotion
In
on the run up
Masters
to this
and in
movie,
Go.
Masters Go, it does feel like Team Rocket may actually
Have
be
a role.
something in Coco. If not, then why?
Then it's just that they can use the route, I guess.
Or they could have just cut Team Rocket parts out of this movie and had a longer Ho-Oh battle. It just doesn't make sense to have Team Rocket in some of these films. They're just trying to...
Ash
put them
didn't
in
even
there.
interact with them
No.
at all in this.
They were pointless. Like they are in most of the films.
I have that final Pokemon retrospective, by the way.
Wow, they did one?
On IMDb, yeah, they did one. 'Cause
Well,
the
might
last
as
one they
well
did was
go
for
for
the Mewtwo movie, and I assume they're not coming back for Coco. But this was from this time last year, so just about, when we were halfway through, they did this review. And actually, this has loads of reviews on IMDb, and I think that kind of speaks to how widespread this Pokemon movie was. It really was a big recharging for the Pokemon movies, and I think they've got things off to a good start with this. But ultimately, Pokemon Retrospective Part 20. It's almost undeniable, they say, that the black and white and X and Y films were creative quality low for the Pokemon franchise. It was a good idea to reboot the film series for the 20th anniversary. I agree. A shame that the new continuity is immediately off to a mediocre start. Not because of the usual laziness and incompetence, mind, but because the series' direction decisions are downright strange. Take the film as a beginning. I Choose You takes too little. After 5 minutes of cliche oversleeping, poorly paced slapstick. Oh yeah, the Ash Ketchum slapstick falling down the stairs.
Oh yeah, always
Ash's
falling
rep-
downstairs.
That was
very
overdone.
good. His mother even drops by Oak's laboratory with travel gear, as if the whole town can't wait for him to leave. The alternatively goofy, intense scenes of Ash and Pikachu building their friendship are much better, but again, take up only 5 minutes, and I'm not one to spread butter thinly. And this was a setup for the film's main arc, yet resolved before the opening credits. What follows is of similar differing quality. There is a scene about 1/3 of the film in which Ash and Co take shelter from a storm, and it's very atmospheric and deliberately paced. However, the campfire chatter turns into a plain exposition of the film and descends into another idiotic chosen one story because of Ash has received Ho's magic feather and now is destined to be a hero. Shame we get no pink elephants.
I mean, one fun fact, the whole rainbow feather thing does carry over into Pokemon Journeys. Not to spoil it, but
Okay. The word,
that old man in Johto.
Well, the final line that they put is, I Choose
Oh,
You feels like
yeah.
the first real... I agree with this. I Choose You feels like the first real effort in years. That's fair enough. And it's certainly not amongst the worst Pokemon films. But the decisions made are just a bit baffling and could have easily been a home run. But the film contains a lot of... just a lot of I don't know. This guy wasn't super sold in it, and I think I'm less aggressive about it, but in a similar camp. I think there was a lot of good there. Great that they did this. Great that they did this 20th anniversary and didn't keep doing the same thing they had been doing for, 19 years at this point. I think that got tiring after about 10, so to get to 20 years, it was like, okay, time for something new. And it's nice to see them not be so totally negative, I think.
It wasn't a bad film.
No.
and I'm just pleased it wasn't too fan servicey. No Pokemon's film's perfect. They've all got time constraints. I wish the Marshadow Ho-Oh integration with one another was a little bit better, but they had a mythical to promote. They had to do something for the 20th. I mean, I don't blame them. It's a hard job to do to try and get Pokemon that are created at very different times to have a link
I mean,
together.
Celebi and Zarude.
Celebi and Zarude, that looks like it's going to work.
I really wish they didn't change Ash Ketchum's outfit so often, because looking at this, I'm just here like, yeah, that's what Ash Ketchum looks like with the blue and white outfit, and I'm just like, I don't know why I think Ash Ketchum could be far more iconic of a character, as iconic as Pikachu, if he maintained a similar outfit, and like it really works in this film. Yeah.
So,
Really
overall,
works.
let's wrap up. Thumbs up from me.
Yeah, it's alright.
It was good. It was
Thumbs
good. I'd recommend.
Yeah.
It
Positive
lags a bit in the
note to
middle,
end on.
but
It's good.
Positive note
It's
to
good.
end on.
Positive note to end on. We like
Wow.
that. And that
With
is
that,
it.
With that, can I just say the biggest congratulations and thank you to yourself, Marty, for doing every single one and hosting them here on your Twitch live. I think it's an incredible feat that you've managed to get us together every single month without
Apart from
fail.
him.
We've
He
watched
missed
it.
a couple.
Apart from
Who's
Joe.
ill?
Well, we're not thanking Joe right now. This isn't about Joe. This is all about Virtually
Yeah.
Marty. So to anyone, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching live, a big thank you and a big hand to Virtually Marty. for
And if
hosting
you
this.
don't already, be sure to subscribe to her because she makes a lot of fantastic content and needs all the subscribers. People don't.
And saying that, my video's just gone up as we're recording live. So
And she doesn't get enough credit. She doesn't get enough exposure. She needs to be out there, and she deserves to be
and
out
thank you to Toby and Joe for you know, joining me on this monthly adventure. On you two are very, very busy people, and I'm amazed that I've managed
This has
to.
been- It's been such a fun thing to like. Okay, cool. That's like one thing in the month. We can sit down, chill out, do this.
Just
even
chat
if I've
about
not
Pokemon for an
really-
hour.
Even if I've not particularly enjoyed the film, I've enjoyed Movie Club, and I think that's like the fun thing about it.
And it's like good to see what other people think about Movie Club as well. And we're not gonna end here. Like when Coco comes out in dub in a way that people can watch
We
it.
could,
We can.
in theory, have our first worldwide release of a movie.
I was literally thinking that earlier, but we'll talk more about that in the post show because we really got to wrap up here. Once again, there are many ways you can watch not just this Pokemon film, but all Pokemon films. You can even read them if you would rather read them digitally and physically as well. Like there's all those ways to do it there. There we go. And as always, thank you very much for joining us. This is where we're gonna leave you here on Twitch, but if you're watching on YouTube and you enjoyed this, leave us a comment, let us know what you think of the film. I really enjoy waking up in the morning, eating my breakfast and reading the comments you guys have left on Movie Club. And if you like the video, press the like button, share with your friends, and if you haven't already, press the subscribe button for more Pokemon videos. Once again, thank you to Joe and Toby, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Until next time, see ya!
Later.